It's easy to lose sleep when you're worried about your health insurance plan. But when you have a family counting on you to take care of them, having the right coverage is more important than ever. That's why Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield is here to help. With low to no cost plans for you and your family, so you never go it alone. That's our Anthem. Click to learn more.
Israel is 5,690 miles away from the U.S., 11 hours by plane. Hate travels faster. In a comment, in a post, in a second. Jewish hate is up 388% in the U.S. Black hate, Muslim hate, and Asian hate are up too. When one hate rises, they all do. Let's stand up to all hate together. Share and wear the blue square from standuptojewishhate.org.
What's up, y'all? This is Neena Perez, and this is Straight Talk, No Sugar Added. And I know that you are here to listen to the best humans on the planet to grow, challenge, and transform your thinking. Let's do this. I found Dr. Alan Lycka, and he's acknowledged as a leading expert in living a fantastic life and turning points. And he is a transformational, sought-after TEDx speaker, a 3 times best-selling author, the winner of the coveted Philly Award for Best-Selling Author, thought leader, a life-changing coach, and mentor. This guy is no joke. So he's acknowledged as one of the leading cosmetic dermatologists globally for 3 decades. And this is what I found really interesting too, Dr. Lycka, is that you were misdiagnosed back in 2003 with Lou Gehrig's disease. And you found that after going through some, different doctors, I guess, and treatments, you found that you have chronic Lyme's disease, or you did, right? So you talk about some challenges, huh? Talk about some challenges.
Well, it's all about challenges. And
it's all about challenges.
But it's not what we do with those challenges. It's how we overcome them.
That's right. And I'm really glad you're here. I have a really fantastic audience. I mean, they're very engaged. A lot of them are always like leaving reviews and, looking at the podcast and leaving questions. I have a good community. And so the first way, the way I like to start off the show is to let them know a little bit more about you, Dr. Lycka. So why don't we start there? I know this is a little question, but who is Dr. Lycka?
Dr. Lycka was a world-leading cosmetic doctor. He was at the top of his craft when in 2003 he was walking with his wife Lucy in Disneyland, and he developed a right foot drop. As a result of that, he was told he had ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, and was told he had 6 months to live.
Oh my gosh.
Neena, that at the top of your career, you were told you have 6 months to live?
That's impactful, Dr. Lycka, because that it hurts. That actually touches me in a very deep place, because I remember my husband had a tumor in his brain and they gave him a year to live. And that was in 2002. So I can imagine, this feeling, not just for you right at the top of your game, but also for your marriage, right? And your family. So what was that for you? Like, I mean, that's a big thing for somebody to tell you. So what happened there? What was that journey like?
You go through the usual phases that Elizabeth Kubler-Ross wrote in her book on Death and Dying. You go through anger.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't you be angry? I mean, that you're at the top of your career, you're angry at everything. You're angry at your wife. You're angry at your children. You're angry at your patients. Anger just exudes you. You go through bargaining. You say, oh God, please don't let this happen. I'll do anything if you don't let this happen. You go through denial. There's nothing wrong. I just have a dropped right foot. I can do everything. But Neena, my right hand started not behaving itself. So I couldn't hold scalpels and my lasers like I could. So that was a problem. And then you go through depression. Neena, have you ever gone through depression?
Yes, I have. It's
the world's worst phase, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It is. It's very dark.
Yeah. You can't eat. You can't sleep. You could stay in bed all day staring at the ceiling because nothing matters.
Right.
You're just depressed.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, I went to my wife and I asked my wife, what do I have? And she said, I haven't got the faintest idea, but you'll figure it out. I said, how can I figure it out? I've seen hundreds of doctors. She said, perhaps you haven't seen the right doctor yet.
Mm.
Well, back in 2003, something brand new was invented. You might have heard about it, Neena. It's called the internet. You ever
Right.
hear of that?
I was around, yes.
You know, back then it was very primitive. It's not like it
Yeah,
is. You had to get on by dial-on connections.
that's right.
Your phone would get on a cradle. It would go ria, ria, ria
Right.
for something like 15 minutes. And when you connected, you get to the other side. But it
Right.
was very primitive. You only can get on by a language like DOS, which
Right.
was very primitive. So I surfed the internet back then. And I found a doctor in Colorado Springs, Colorado, by the name of David Martz. And he had a disease very similar to mine, but
Mm.
he got worse much more rapidly. And he was on his deathbed when doctors from around the world were coming up to say goodbye to him. Well, a doctor from Texas came up to David and he said to David, I don't think you have ALS. I don't think you have Lou Gehrig's disease. And David said,
Mm.
oh, I have. The doctor from Texas says, I think you have chronic Lyme's disease. I think you were bitten by a tick. And it's mimicking Lou Gehrig's disease.
Wow.
That's how my journey started. David was treated, and I knew I had to get in touch with him. So I phoned every hospital in Colorado Springs, Colorado. I met up with him at the Methodist Hospital.
Yeah, that's awesome.
He said, can you come down? And I said, of course. So that's the rest of my story. I got there. He started me on antibiotics and other treatments. And that's why I'm here today.
Wow. I don't know if you believe in God or divine intervention, but that just sounds like such a God wink story to me.
Well, I do
Um,
believe in God, and I
yeah,
believe God was helping me then. You know,
yeah,
when I went through denial back then, and I didn't believe God was helping me. I knew now that He was helping me in different ways.
right.
I really could see at that time. He
Yeah.
wanted to lead me down a different path than the path I was going on.
Right, right. Isn't that something? Yeah, I have a strong belief in God too, and there's sometimes when I've gone through things in my life where I was angry too, and I didn't understand it. I do now, and I'm so grateful, for the lesson because I don't think because I'm hard headed, right? So I don't think I would have learned it another way. So I'm really glad, and I'm glad that He intervened in your life too, because what a thing for you, right? To say, well, let me go on the web and just surf there, and then to find a story similar to yours to me, that's just divine intervention. I
Well,
mean,
it's like a
yeah.
needle in the haystack. Back then,
Yeah. Yeah.
and the internet then was like the internet now. It's like the world's greatest resources, the world's best library, but it's full of garbage cans.
That's
And
right.
you find the garbage cans from the great resources that are there. So,
Yeah.
that is why I think there was some guiding force helping me then, just like
Yeah.
helping me now.
Right. And Dr. Lycka, also the fact that um to think that you found someone that went through that, but for you to actually have the same thing, you know what I'm saying? Like that's not yeah, that's I mean, come on. I mean to have the same thing?
Back then, chronic Lyme's disease wasn't even known. Many
Right.
doctors didn't even believe it. And even now, they don't even believe it's an entity.
Right.
Doctors will argue that it really exists.
Wow. And it is and then that makes you think, right, Dr. Lycka, how many other people and maybe even someone listening right now how much this can help them, right? Because a lot of people were diagnosed with it, so were they misdiagnosed too? I mean, it's possible.
Well, every time I go on a show like this, there's one or two people that get in touch with me and they ask me, what can I do? Because I
Hmm.
might have this disease, but doctors do not believe it. So I'm always willing to help them. I'm always
Hmm.
willing to help. Now, I'm not diagnosing people in this day and age. I'm retired. So
Right.
I will pass on information. I'll treat them like I'm a friend of theirs and
Yeah.
show them the light, so to speak, and let them go and discover it themselves if they want.
So now that you're retired and everything, I see that you're getting you also are a TEDx speaker and a three-time best-selling author. So talk to me a little bit about that journey. Like how did you go from, thank God finding a solution to your illness and then now transitioning into this, or was it a transition like that, or how was that?
Interesting one. Once I had gone through and figured out my illness, I started to give back to society. I started to give
Awesome.
back to people. And I sponsored an event called the YWCA Women of Distinction event. And a woman by the name of Harriet Tinka applied for an award. I was the MC, I was the head poobah of this event. And she wanted to apply for an award. And the award she applied for was Turning Points Award. Now, that award was given to somebody that turned their life around. You see,
Mhm.
Harriet was a world class model. She'd walked the runways of New York and Milan and Paris, but she grew tired of that industry because it's a dog eat dog industry.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so she decided to take up her second love, which was accounting. So she, at that time, went to the University of Calgary in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and there she was befriended by a person that was a psychopath. He ended up
Mm.
kidnapping her, stabbing her, and leaving her for dead.
Oh my gosh.
Harriet does not know how she got to the hospital, but she got there. And she met a little girl by the name of Amber. Amber was wheeling down the hallway in a wheelchair. Her story was tragic. She had lost both of her parents in a car accident and lost the use of her legs. But she talked to Harriet and said, Harriet, tell me your story. And Harriet was moribund. She was depressed. She said, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. And Amber gave her heck. She said, how dare you? She said, look at me. I'm in a wheelchair. I lost both of my parents, but I'm going to do something with myself.
Mm.
Challenge you to do something with yourself. I challenge you to use your story to empower other people. So
Wow.
that's why Harriet had applied for the award. She wanted to meet me. And it wasn't to win the award. She wanted to write a book with me. She wanted to use our stories to empower others. And that's why we wrote one of our best selling books called The Secrets to Living a Fantastic Life,
That's
which,
a great title.
which became a number one best selling book. And in that book, we talked about the golden pearls we found in people's lives. There
Oh,
are
good.
13 golden pearls deep down in every one of us, Neena. And each and every one of us has those golden pearls. And we just have to look inside ourselves and use
Mhm,
those
mhm.
golden pearls to take us to another level and take us to another uh, path. And people can find that path for sure.
That's amazing. I love that. You're a great storyteller, by the way. I see that. I see why you're a TEDx speaker, because that you had me caught right into that story. That's a fantastic, fantastic story and turnaround. And um, I'm sure that impacts so many people's lives. So the 13 pearls. Let's talk about that. Is that something that you talk about a lot in your TEDx talks?
I talk about them every time I'm on my show, every time I'm talking to people in these shows as well. I'll start with the first golden pearl we talk about, and that's love.
I
Love is
love that.
number one golden pearl. Where would we be without love, Nina? Where
That's
would
the
we be
truth.
without our mother's love that has
Yeah.
brought us to this? And every one of our stories begins, every one of our chapters begins with a quote. And the quote that I'm going to share with you is one that I wrote myself. Love. I believe that dreaming is stronger than reality. Desire is more potent than apathy. Hope is more powerful than despair.
Yes.
Joy always triumphs over sorrow. That laughter is the ultimate cure for mankind's foibles. And I believe that love is stronger than hate, the greatest gift of all.
Yeah. Yeah. So beautiful and so true. I love this.
Well, love is one of those few things that you get more by giving it So
Yeah.
it's very important to give as much as you can. And that's how you get more love all the time.
That's so true. It's such a powerful motivator too. It's a powerful motivator, love. It motivates you to throw yourself in front of a car if somebody's going to hit your baby. It motivates you to, to sacrifice your life if you don't swim, but you see somebody's dying and that's your loved one. You're going to jump in too. It's like it's a strong motivator. It's something that binds people from all different cultures, races, belief systems is love. And I love that you wrote about that, and I love that that's the quote you decided to use as well. That's really powerful. So you're also doing some life-changing coaching, right? And mentoring. So talk to me about that. How did you start, getting into the mentoring and the life coaching?
There's so many people out there that need help in this day and age. Everybody needs some help. And so
Yeah.
I love to help people. And so I decided to do that. And for each and every one of your guests, I would love to give them a free 15-minute discovery call. All they have to do is get in touch with me. Uh, at my website, go to Dr. Ellen Lycka, DRALLEN, Lycka, LYCKA.com, and check me out there, because
Yeah.
there you will find more about me, and there
Yeah.
you can sign up for a free 15-minute call. I would
Mhm.
love to give that to each and every one of your guests, because I know your guests are going through a time when
Yeah.
they don't know what to do. They don't know where the light is. And this is one of those things I'd love to give everybody so that they can find some light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Thank you for offering that to my audience as well. And you're right. I think we're all going through some times. These are tough times, for a lot of people. And I think that that's why they listen to a show like this, is to listen to people like you and people who are going to challenge and transform their thinking. And that's why I like having people on here who are purposely using their lives to make a change in someone else's, right? I think that's the most important thing we can do, right, Dr. Lycka? Like really use what we've been through in life to impact somebody else's life. That's why I do what I do here, right? Because I love it so much. So thank you for offering that. And I also want to know, like, when somebody calls you for that 15 just a minute discovery call and they want to work with you, what does that look like? What does working with Dr. Lycka look like?
We always start at the end and we go to the beginning. We always find out where a person wants to be in 5 years, where they want to be in 10 years, and
Mm-hmm.
what the perfect life would be like them if there were no hindrances, if there were no worries about costs, if there were no worries about anything else. And then we work on the things they want to achieve.
Yeah.
Perhaps they want to write a book. Perhaps they want to change their job into something else. Perhaps they're in a situation that they don't like things going on and want to change it. Well, I help them to find those things and find the way that they'll do that deep down inside themselves.
Okay. So then you're really dealing with then all areas of their life. It sounds like, like you're really trying to change their life for the better, whatever area that is, right? So,
Exactly. And only
yeah,
a person can decide that themselves. You know,
right.
I've helped top executives in their businesses, and they weren't happy with the way their business was going. So I've
Mhm.
helped them there. I've helped some people in a difficult marital situation, and I've helped them there. So the answer
Mhm.
is, it's as individual as the people are that want some help in this day and age.
Right. How do you find this part of your life compared to when you were at the top of your game, right? So you said to me you were at the top of your game before 2003 when all this struck you. How are you feeling about this path in your life?
It's just a different path. I helped people back then in different ways than I am now. So
Mhm.
it's just a different path that I'm on. And
Mhm.
it's the same path, but people are just being helped in different ways.
So you started with helping people and external, right? With the skin, right? And then now you're helping them internally. Is that that's right, right?
When I was a cosmetic surgeon, I'd help people remove the scars from their life, their deep scars. I'd help people with very, very bad burn scars,
Mm.
help their skin turn back to normal. Well, now I help their emotional scars turn back.
Mhm. Mhm. How cool is that?
Yes.
That's so cool, right? So like you're really helping, you really have had a life where you have had a beautiful opportunity to help people on the outside and the inside. And that's a beautiful journey. That is a beautiful journey, right? And I love that you have decided that, you know what? Life is different, life has changed, and I'm retired and I still want to work helping people's life, and that's, I mean, that's just powerful, and that's gonna be paid back to you in spades, right? So tell me some of the beauty or like the most memorable moment that you've had in this particular journey right now with life coaching and TEDx speaking and all of that. Do you
Yeah,
have one?
I don't know if I have one. It's all been such a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
I mean, doing a TEDx talk was a beautiful thing. Being
yeah.
on stage and having hundreds of people looking at me and listening to my words of wisdom. Being on my show, which is a syndicated radio show that has 3 million listeners a month,
That's
is
awesome.
really a beautiful thing. So the answer is it keeps on growing.
Yeah. Oh my god. So tell me about your show. You still do it?
Oh, yes, I do 12 shows each and every week. And
Woo.
Monday and through
You're
Monday
not retired, Dr. Lycka. Why'd you lie to us?
through Monday through Friday, and during the weekend. On Saturday, I have an hour show. So each and every one of those days, it's a great show, and it takes people on to a different journey. So you can reach me on AM, FM 24/7.
I
And
love
the
it.
show is called How to Live a Fantastic Life.
That's awesome. And but you have other books too, right? So tell me about another book you have because I know you told me about the first book you wrote. What was the other books for? Are they like just like trilogies or?
Another book I wrote was called The Pillars of Success. Now, you might have heard of an author by the name of Jack Canfield, who has
Yes.
helped write Chicken Soup for the Soul.
Yes.
Well, Jack helped me write The Secrets to Living a Fantastic Life.
Oh,
He said,
nice.
Dr. Lycka, I really would love it if we could write a book together. So we wrote The Pillars of Success together as a result of
How
that.
cool is that?
Yes,
That's so fun.
it is.
It's a great project. I'm gonna check that out. I liked Chicken Soup for the Soul. That was one of like the books that I like went to in the beginning of my transitioning to a better mindset and a better life and all that kind of stuff. And that really, those stories really touched my soul. I mean, come on, the name alone is perfect, isn't it? Like
It
talk about a good brand.
For sure. And so Jack and I wrote that book together. I also wrote a book called Blue: Business, Life, and the Universe with a
Oh
friend by
wow.
Corie Poirier, because that book, again, is several authors got together and wrote that book.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
it's again about business, life, and the universe.
Right, right. Dr. Like, I think one of the beauties of this is, the wisdom shared, right? Because, like you said, you've had this beautiful life. You've gone through some struggle. You've come out on the other end. You say you're retired, but we all now know you are not. And, but to use all of that wisdom to impact people's lives is a really impactful thing for me because I think that most of us will think about retirement and think about that's it. I want to live for me only, right? Instead, you took, I'm going to live for retirement and I'm going to impact others.
Well,
And I respect
to
that.
me, retirement is different than what others is.
Yeah.
It's going to be sitting on the balcony, drinking their iced beverage and so on. For me, it's doing what you want to do.
Yes.
That's what
Yes.
retirement is all about.
So what's your next journey? Where are you going from here? What is it that you want to
We
do?
are going to do some very exciting things in the new year. I'm starting some groups. I'm starting a community for nurses that are burnt out that is coming
Oh,
up
nice.
very soon.
Yes.
And it's going to be called the Burning Embers Group. And that's going to launch in the next week or two. I'm also starting one for entrepreneurs, and it's going to be called nobull.com. So entrepreneurs can find some truth in
That's
their business
awesome.
lives and find another thing as well. And I'm also going to be starting a a podcast, which is also a syndicated radio show called Dr. Fix That. And it's going to help people fix their businesses.
You need to go into branding, honestly.
So Dr. Fix That is coming out very soon as well.
I love it. I love it. Dr. Lycka, you are amazing. I am so glad you came on my show. I just love like gleaming the wisdom off of things you've said. And, it just like inspires me as I keep, getting older. I keep getting better with time. I just turned 50 this year and I'm like 50. What does that look like? What does 51 look like? That kind of thing. And I always said that even as I become older and older, and I'm not promised tomorrow, but I'm going to try to make today impactful. And if I can live a long life, I want to live a long life like you, like just keep writing, keep doing shows. And now you're coming out with groups. It's like, wow, you're a busy man. So I love that though.
Well, also I love everything that I'm doing. I love everything that I'm doing. And I love to give back. And, again, if people go to my website, Dr. Lycka, DRALLEN, Lycka, LYCKA.com, sign up for a golden pearl a week. And I will send you a golden pearl each and every week so your life will be better.
Yeah, that's so freaking cool. And I also, kudos to you for thinking of the nurses and everybody else out there too are burnt out and exhausted and tired. And this is going to be, I think it's going to be extremely successful because there's not much out there like that. And they need that, so good for you for doing it.
Well, and that's why I and a girl by the name of Susan Macnin is doing this together. And we're going to be launching very soon. So
that's amazing.
Find it. Make sure you go to my website and make sure you go to it often because all these wonderful things are coming out.
Yeah, and if they sign up for like the newsletters and stuff, I'm sure they'll also get a blast for that as well. So
for sure, it'll keep them in line with all the wonderful things we're offering.
Yeah, you are offering wonderful things. Dr. Alan Lycka, guys, you heard him here. Dr. Alan Lycka, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for spending this time with us. Thank you, honestly, for sharing this space and giving us wisdom. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Neena, it was my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Hey guys, thank you so much for listening. You are the best, okay? I have the best podcasting community ever. I really do. And I appreciate you guys being on here. Make sure you go on to winject.com/register, winject.com/register, and register for my free community because I want to be really connected with you and I want us to brainstorm and be with each other and connect in a deeper way. If you are looking for coaching, please make sure that you also email me at hello@straighttalknosugaradded.com. I work with women and I help them develop that business that they are envisioning in their hearts so that they can win. Thank you guys so much for being here. Love you, love you, love you. This is Neena Perez, Straight Talk, No Sugar Added. Until next time.
Looking for a reliable transportation specialist to handle your freight needs? Count on us, Sylvan Trucking. Based in Columbus, Ohio, we provide shipping solutions with a fleet of 35 power units and 100 trailers. If you need a dedicated solution for your key accounts, Sylvan Trucking has you covered. As part of LCG Transportation Solutions, we're uniquely positioned to be your single-source transportation supplier. Visit sylvantrucking.com today or call 614-272-8163. Sylvan Trucking, your partner in transportation.
Israel is 5,690 miles away from the U.S., 11 hours by plane. Hate travels faster. In a comment, in a post, in a second. Jewish hate is up 388% in the U.S. Black hate, Muslim hate, and Asian hate are up too. When one hate rises, they all do. Let's stand up to all hate together. Share and wear the blue square from standuptojewishhate.org.